Hello and welcome. In today's video I want to talk about the pros and cons of being a software engineer at a big tech company. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix and Google, those are the FAANG companies. Those are some of the largest tech companies in the world actually. They can be great to work at for many reasons. So if you are an employee at one of these FAANG companies, you'll most likely earn a great salary and you have access to really a robust developer network to learn from. And that's a very important part as your career evolves over time. If you don't work at a FAANG company, you might feel a little bit left out. I mean, you hear about all the perks and everything that these guys have. But the truth is really not all software engineering roles are the same. So when you work at a FAANG company, the projects that you work on, the people that you report to, and the environments you work in, they will vary. There are also non-FAANG companies that offer better work environments and even better pay. And those are companies, once you find them, you should really consider them to work at and figure out if that's something that you want to do. So one of the biggest differences for software engineering roles at FAANG companies really is the product. So software is an integral part of each company. They have their specific products or platforms, and that's really their bread and butter. Everything these companies do is really related to the software platform or the cloud service that they offer. They are nothing without software. Really think about it. Google, yes, they have data centers and all that stuff, but it's the software that is really driving the revenue. It's the software that generates the income. It's the software that builds the entire ecosystem that they have. The business would not exist if it's not for software. This necessity, the dependency for software, really requires that each company has enough software engineers on staff and also builds a pipeline for new developers and engineers to come in, and also frequently really promote them up so that these people stay motivated. The FAANG companies really will employ tens of thousands of software engineers and developers, and several thousands of those might actually be working on the same product or project that you work on. So just imagine the sheer number of people that involves, the complexity, the structure, the framework that needs to be in place so that everything in the end works flawlessly. So what does that mean for you should you join a FAANG company? So you'll step into a really robust infrastructure built for the success as a software developer. The expectations towards you will be clear, and the protocol and everything will be very, very structured. I mentioned that just a moment ago. Without that structure and the right framework, they will fail. There will likely be a really straightforward and efficient process for everything. If there isn't, it's probably being developed by somebody at the moment. Someone will always be there to review and really help debug your code. There will be in-depth, really internal wikis that help you through any type of issue that you might face. So Google, as an example, is one of those tech companies, FAANG companies, that has really set a new standard. So they really show how these FAANG companies can operate at scale. Google has a great development infrastructure. Part of that infrastructure is really the process of seamless code reviews. Think about it, you're developing code, thousands of developers are developing code. So there needs to be that really structured and efficient code review process. They operate an internal tool where developers can ask any other developer for a code review. So it's really, you don't need to find a mentor. It's already everything there. Everything is baked into that work environment. And they want the software developers and engineers really to succeed, because if those succeed, then the company, so Google, will succeed in that moment. If a developer needs any type of IT equipment, at Google they can get whatever they need from IT. And most of the time the equipment is really free, with just very few exceptions. And the process to deliver these items to you as a software engineer, the software developer, is really streamlined. It's really about efficiencies. And the 3G and the ease of access to everything really is provide employees with that quick turnaround so that they're not being distracted and they can go and produce their best work. So writing really great code. Many years ago, I remember visiting the Google campus in Boulder, Colorado. So besides the visible perks that I saw there, like a really great equipped kitchen with breakfast food and lunch foods and all that stuff, the campus environment was really optimized for producing great code and output accordingly. I had to use the bathroom when I was there, and even the bathroom stalls had like coding questions and coding tutorials everywhere. So if you were sitting in the bathroom and you had like 3-4 minutes to yourself, well, there was a coding challenge for you to solve, and kept your mind really on the coding process. So it sometimes feels crazy, but if you see the success that Google has, it all makes sense. You will find similar environments and support at the other FAANG companies, so there is nothing different. The employees move between companies, and so if one company develops a certain process or identifies a certain efficiency, you will see this at the other FAANG companies sooner or later as well. And then at these FAANG companies, you really are surrounded by technically adept people. You will meet a lot of brilliant software engineers who really know their way around code. You will also meet a lot of non-technical employees. Like every other company, there are employees that are not software developers, of course. But one thing really that you need to keep in mind, for FAANG companies, the software is the key. And the employees know that when you are joining this company. So there's a certain expectation that will be communicated to you. So this means also that anyone that is not a software developer, not a software engineer, still needs to understand the basics of software development and really know the bigger picture. Non-technical employees won't need to know how to code, but they need to understand it at a conceptual level. So it's really important. The company cannot afford that, let's say as an example, a non-technical manager is making decisions that impact the main product delivery and the main product development. So they really need to understand the impact of something and what does it mean for the software development process. These companies really don't want communication and product inefficiencies impact the software development. So keep that in mind when you start working at a FAANG company. Everything is really structured and code development is king. Because FAANG companies need to hire so many engineers, they constantly compete for the best talent, which could be really good for you. That means higher salaries, bonus, signing bonus, and so on. So this competition really affects software engineering roles in many different ways. So each of the FAANG companies will really try to offer you the best work environment possible. This includes more than just the development infrastructure. I mean, if you are really a dedicated software developer, you want to look for the best work environment. But the FAANG companies will also offer very different salary packages compared to non-FAANG companies. So this includes bonus, equity, free daily meals, paid offsites, and even some celebrity events. So there's a whole lot more. I'm not reading the whole list of benefits, but you get the idea. They want to try to make that work environment special. Competition among the FAANG companies isn't always just pure beneficial for you. So this competition will bring in the best of the best engineers, and they will hold you accountable. They also want you to produce the best work possible. So there's a certain pressure that is building up. So just keep that in mind. It's not just you collect a high salary, you have the great food. No, there's also pressure building up. So keep that in mind. And then FAANG companies will measure you against their own intense internal performance programs. They have so much data points already that they can really tell early on if you are a good software engineer and you will succeed, or if you're maybe not the right fit for the environment. So in the end, the goal is really to have a constant, great output of software code and software delivery. So if you don't measure up, they will let you go, and sometimes more quickly than not. So over time, you will also experience people bouncing between those companies. So, oh, this guy came from Facebook, or this one came from Netflix, or from Google, whatever it is. So there is competition between those companies, and the more stations or positions people had at the different FAANG companies, I think you will see that they drop off sooner than later from software development at a FAANG company altogether. Some start their own companies, some retire because they are now financially independent, and others just really want to do something completely different with less pressure, something where their personal interest is much higher compared to software coding, and software development was really just a means to reach this goal. And when these people drop off the radar and they leave, sometimes this can really create a void, and it can impact an entire project. So there's really a risk that these companies have, and so they really try to do knowledge sharing at every level so that no person, not one single person, is a single point of failure. So I hope this gives you an idea really how it is to work at a FAANG company. So there are some pros, there are some cons, as you can imagine. So if you want to work at one of the FAANG companies, just keep in mind it starts with the interview process. It's not your typical interview process that you are maybe used to from companies outside of the FAANG company. So that entire process is already optimized. So you need to start early on and then work your way in. So I would like to hear from you in the comments. Would you like to work at a FAANG company, maybe as a software developer or even as a non-technical person? So please leave a comment down below. I really like to understand what your thought process is in that regards. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. Of course, check out my other videos, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.